Hey, it's Adriana here. Before we get into today's episode, I want to invite you to something special. I'm hosting a series of hypnotic writing workshops called Writing with the Unconscious. They're designed to help you bypass your inner critic and tap into the deeper, stranger, more luminous parts of your mind. These aren't just for poets or novelists. If you write to reflect, to process, to remember who you are, if you keep a journal or scribble in the margins or jot down thoughts in the Notes app in your phone, these are for you too. Each workshop is centered on a theme, and through guided trance, we'll journey inward to the part of you that already knows what wants to be said. If you're feeling stuck or longing to rediscover your own voice and fall back in love with the joy of words, come write with me. The first workshop is August 27th, and the link to register is in the show notes. I would love to see you there. You're listening to How to Drink Less, and I'm your host, Adriana Cloud. Whether your goal is to cut back, take a break, or say goodbye to alcohol for good, this podcast will help you stop drinking on autopilot, learn how to manage cravings, and feel fully in control around alcohol. It's easier than you think. Listen on to find out how. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here for another episode. Today, I want to do something a little different. If you've been listening for a while, you know that I spend a lot of time talking about the mindset of drinking less. The thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs we have about alcohol and about ourselves that determine how much and how often we drink. And that's for good reason, because if you're trying to change your drinking without changing your mindset and your thinking, it's going to be an uphill battle. You basically will be relying only on willpower. But today's episode is not so much about mindset as it is about what you can actually do. Because, yes, understanding your thoughts and processing your emotions is essential, but sometimes it also helps to get super practical. So, today, I want to share 5 practical tips that can help you to drink less without relying on willpower alone. These are super simple, doable strategies that you can start using tonight to make it easier to stick to your commitment. Tip number 1 is make alcohol less accessible. I know that sounds super basic, but it's incredibly powerful because we're not just creatures of habit. We're also creatures of proximity and ease. We tend to reach for what's near us. We do what's easy. And if the wine is already chilled and within arm's reach, of course you're more likely to pour yourself a glass and a second glass and maybe a third one. So one of the simplest things you can do is not keep alcohol in the house. Or if that's not realistic for you, just make it less convenient to access. Maybe store it in a less obvious spot. Just put it out of sight. Make it require just enough effort to give you time to check in and make a conscious decision if you want the next drink. And if you know that there are people, places, or events that make drinking feel automatic, maybe avoid them for a while if you can. This is not about cutting people out of your life or living like a hermit. Obviously, this is not a sustainable strategy in the long term, but it's about buying yourself a little bit of breathing space while you're practicing new skills and building a new habit. And again, this is not forever, but it's just a helpful reset. Tip number 2 is switch to lower alcohol options. This one is about reducing intensity without removing the pleasure you get from whatever it is that you tend to drink. If you normally go for strong cocktails or higher ABV wines, try opting for something lower in alcohol, like a wine spritzer or a 3% beer, or a lighter pour diluted with more of the mixer. There are now so many more options for low alcohol drinks and alcohol-free drinks than there ever have been before, and many of them actually taste quite all right. You don't have to give up the ritual or the flavor, you're just softening the effects here. So this can be one of the easiest ways to reduce your overall consumption. And if you're someone who tends to usually drink quickly, This can also be one way to slow the buildup of alcohol in your system and make it easier to stay in control. Tip number 3 is alternate alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. This is one of the easiest ways to drink less without necessarily noticing it so much. So, for every alcoholic drink, have a glass of water or sparkling water or something non alcoholic that feels fun. And yes, it helps if your non alcoholic drink is something that you actually enjoy. But even just making yourself drink a glass of water between drinks is helpful because it helps you to stay hydrated. This strategy breaks the momentum of drinking and it gives your body time to metabolize the alcohol more slowly. And also, it gives you something to do with your hands and your mouth. So you're not drinking just out of habit or social pressure. And if you're out with other people, you can alternate without making a big deal out of it because most people won't even really notice. Tip number 4 is to delay the first drink. And this one is deceptively simple. Let's say it's 6 p.m. and you have the urge to pour a glass of wine because you're getting ready to start cooking dinner. So instead of responding immediately and going to grab the wine, just wait 10 minutes. That's it. Just wait. You're not telling yourself that you will not have the drink. You're just giving yourself a little breathing room, a chance to check in, to ask, am I actually thirsty or is it really the wine that I'm looking for? Am I stressed or overstimulated? Am I looking for a reward or a release? Am I actually just hungry? Or is it just a habit that's kicking in? Sometimes just taking that little pause is enough to weaken the craving. And perhaps you might even, in those 10 minutes, distract yourself and then realize that you didn't really want the drink. But even if you do end up having the drink, which again, that's okay, that's allowed. Even so, you still practice something powerful. You taught your brain that you don't have to respond to a craving immediately. You created a moment of choice. And that's an incredible skill that can be valuable in any area of your life. Tip number 5 is pace yourself. Slowing down changes everything. If you tend to finish your drink before everyone else, this one is for you. Try putting your glass down between sips. Take smaller sips. Maybe try to match the slowest drinker at the table if you're out with other people. You can even set a challenge for yourself. Can you make this one drink last the whole night? Or how about making one drink last an hour? You will get to pick the parameters of the challenge, but just make it into a game to see how much you can slow down. Pacing yourself, again, allows your body to metabolize the alcohol more gradually, and it gives you more opportunities to check in with yourself and decide whether you actually want more. And I'll give you one bonus tip as well, and that is change your physical defaults. Here's a fun little brain hack. If you always sit on the left side of the couch and your drink is on the coffee table in front of you, switch it up. Sit somewhere else. Put your drink on the other side. Use a different glass. These tiny shifts force your brain out of autopilot and help you to become more conscious of what you're doing. It might sound silly, but breaking your routines in subtle ways like that can make a big difference. All of these tips are designed to help you create more space between impulse and action. It's not about restriction or punishment. It's about creating micro moments of awareness. Because when you have those little pauses, you have the space to make an intentional choice. And choice equals power. So pick one of these this week or try all 5. And you don't have to do them perfectly. You don't have to do every single one. Just start practicing and see what you notice. And if you want deeper support, if you're ready to go beyond practical tips and work on the beliefs and the emotions that drive your drinking, I would love to work with you. I offer one-on-one coaching to help you change your relationship with alcohol from the inside out. If you want to cut back or quit for good, without shame, without overwhelm, and without relying on willpower alone, you can book a free consultation via the link in the show notes, and I look forward to talking to you because you don't have to do this alone. It is a lot faster with a guide, and I would love to be that guide for you. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next week.
If you're looking for practical advice for how to say no to alcohol and say yes to yourself, you will want to get on my email list. Sign up to receive my free guide with 7 steps to kickstart your sobriety. The link is in the show notes, so go and grab it now, and I'll see you soon in your inbox.